Hello and happy November from all of us at Pleasant Wealth. We're excited to give to you your experience for 2026 as a Flourish client for Pleasant Wealth. So you've gotten the PDF of the calendar of advice, and I just want to highlight a couple of those elements so that you know how to engage and how to sign up in 2026. So there's 3 layers of advice that we give you throughout the year. And before I get into the specific layers, I want to talk about the framework of how we approach those layers. And the first is that you need to know that we see money as 2 components. There's the structure of money, which you're familiar with. It's the budgets, it's the taxes, it's the investment allocations, it's the strategy that really designs the actual dollars to do the thing that you want it to do. But then there's also the soul side of money, where we say, this is what I want to create with life, this is what I'm motivated towards, this is where I feel blocked at. And we find that when we marry those 2 together in the investment advice process, that you get the most out of what it means to be a human with money. Now, all of this, both the structure and the soul, comes down to rhythm. And so how would we design a rhythm? Well, you can design rhythms off of lots of different types of calendars. You know, depending on what group or organization you're in, you might design it around a school calendar or a political calendar or a fiscal calendar. But what we've decided is that to be a human and to really get to the core of who we are, we don't want to use man-made calendars. We want to use nature. And so that's why every single month is designed around what's happening in nature in Ohio and how we can use that as a metaphor for how to live life and how to be a human with money. So through that lens, we've got these 3 layers of advice. The first layer is the Insight series. It is a monthly conversation on the 2nd Tuesday of the month at 12 o'clock. It's live, it's on Zoom. We hope you'll join live because it's always more fun to see your faces there. You can go ahead and mark your calendar now for the 2nd Tuesday of the month at 12 o'clock. It's about 60 minutes of a conversation, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more, but we go through a lot of different things, case studies of different ways of approaching the same type of life situation, tips and tricks, different ways that you can approach your money or your security, like being on the internet and all of those things. And we also look at what it means to be a human with money and the obstacles and opportunities that we face and how to wiggle our way around those and find more freedom. So we do an interview style in the middle of it. You get to experience all of our advisors talking about through their personality and their lens of how they see money in the world, because we're all so different. And that really creates a nice tapestry for you to get more insight for what it means for you to be a person with money and for you to make choices that you want to make. So that's Insight series, the 2nd Tuesday of the month at 12 o'clock. And then on top of that, we have your financial advice. And this is what you see with the structure of money. It is the spring and fall review that you have with Clinton and Carrie, and that's where you get into projections. We use our bird's eye view software and our Holistiplan tax software. We look at your investment allocations. We talk about your long-term plans, all things to do with what you typically expect from an advisor. And that's what happens in those. You're familiar with that. We've been doing those since 2020. They've worked really well, got a lot of good feedback from clients that it's helpful to have a time where you know that you're touching base with us so that time doesn't get away from us when it comes to designing our money with intention. And then that third tier of advice that we are bringing to you is the clarity conversations. So this tends to be more towards the soul side of money. It is, we have introduced it in 2025 and got some good feedback from those who decided to engage with it. Helped someone when they had to downsize a house, helped someone when they lost a job, helped someone as they transitioned into creating their own business, and the pieces there. What you'll notice with all of those and further examples that I could give you is that they all have to do with transition, because change is quite difficult for people if they're not very intentional and aware about what it is that's happening during that time. And we as humans go through change all the time. And so clarity conversations are there to help you work through the change and find what it is that means something to you, whether that's your values or your goals or your intentions, and what tends to trip you up, the obstacles, the mindsets, the blocks. So we highlight that in your clarity conversations, and those will happen in January and July. And this January, since some of the other feedback that we've gotten from people who didn't participate was like, it's a great idea, I think, but I don't quite know how to participate in it. So we have 3 structured ways that you can join in for the clarity calls, which is why I wanted to create this video so that you can hear about those verbally. The first is that through a physical means, like going on a walk together, pretty low, it's easy to access. And then one is a creative way of using art. And then the third is through conversation. So we will hold 2 vision walks. It'll be on the 6th and the 8th of January. You can see those in the link below. To sign up for that, we'll meet at the Wilderness Center and we do a silent walk together. And I give some framework around that of ways to think as you're walking. I've been doing this in my Liz Hand coaching business that I have with hundreds of advisors. And what the consistent feedback I get is that I didn't know what I was gonna get when I came in, but when I actually cleared out all of the noise, I found some motivation that I didn't realize was there, or some obstacle that is the thing that's actually stalking me. So I know that by going on this vision walk, you will find some new insight that you didn't realize was there, because there's so much other noise that when we clear out through being silent together, you'll find those true gems. So that's how that will work. You can expect about 90 minutes for those sessions together. And then up to 10 people for each of those. But if all of the spots are taken and you still want to go on it, just reach out, send us an email. We might be able to squeeze you in on that. So the second being the creative measure, the using art as a way to uncover, clear out the noise, find the motivations or the obstacles. It is fascinating to me as I've done these since 2020 with friends and family, the way that you can go into this painting session and not really have any idea of what was going to come out, but then on the page as you go through, this deeper truth pops out. So for you that are creative minded, that might be a great place for you to begin a clarity conversation to get some more insight for yourself. That will be on the 21st of January here at the office, 2 p.m. And we'll be limited on that because of space that we have. So about 8 people maximum. All right, and then the third is that one-to-one conversation that you can have. We will use the lens of New Year's intentions, what it is that you want to generate in 2026 as a couple, as an individual, as a human, whether you're working or you're retired, whether it's with your grandchildren or with your family or with yourself. All of those things are on the table to have a conversation about. 60 minutes, up to 60 minutes, one-to-one, over Zoom or in person. And you will find lots of insight for yourself through the coaching process that I've been trained in. So, all right. So that is the 2026 Flourish client experience. We're excited that you get to engage with us, and even more excited that we get to engage with you and help you shape what it means to be a human with money, because it is what lights us up here at Pleasant Wealth, and we're excited to help you make the most of money so that you can feel good about money. All right, friends, that's all I have for today. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great week.